address quickly and then go over your questions. Because I feel like the Q&A time is really where the value is. So, let's talk briefly. First off, for any of you guys who don't know, my name is James Portnow. I write for some stuff. I do a show, which some of you guys may have seen. I speak places. I hold a professorship at DigiPen, which is the #2 game school in the United States. And I run a game design consulting firm called Rainmaker Games, and I work on games ranging from Farmville to the Call of Duty series. So that's me in a nutshell. But what I've done, far less important than what we're going to talk about. So, how many of you guys desire to be game designers? How many of you guys are game designers? When we talk about game design, and especially about our job, our title, what we do, we talk a lot about this word. We almost never talk about this word. That's important. So, for you guys, what is design? Anyone, thoughts? Shout them out. Because to me, right, our medium's interactive. So should our conferences be. There's no reason why I should be trying to impart knowledge to you. You guys have as much if you give back to me. So anyway, thoughts. What is design? Wait, shout that out. So assemble components for a result. What else?
The capacity thinking system, the system, not only there,
So,
a coherence.
Delivering a system, yes. Can you all hear everybody in the back?
No, not at all. All right, fine. We're gonna do this. Where's the PowerPoint?
Can you all hear me in the back?
Yeah.
All right, great. As a designer, you should be able to get the back of any room, even if you're running off 24 hours of jet lag. Speak up. All right. So, to me, design is simply creation with purpose. We wouldn't take a random pile of lumber, start beating it together with a hammer and nails, and hope to get a house. But for some reason, this is very often how we seem to approach design, specifically game design. So, my first question to you guys is, who are you designing for? Anyone?
Somebody.
Excellent, you're players. Yes. You're designing for real human beings. You're designing for other people. People who work like you, who have psychology. You can really build something for. These aren't mystical entities out there. They're your player base. That's who you're creating. And the key question you have to ask at all times is, how am I engaging my player? This is the fundamental problem you're always trying to solve in game design. Every time that you get a new project, every time that you have a question, this is what you go back to. So, saying, I want to build a platform isn't enough. And yet I see this all the time, even in tens of millions of dollars projects. I see this begin from this sort of statement. So who recognizes this picture? We got a couple of you guys. If you haven't and you're a game designer, you should read The Design of Everyday Things. Great book. But this is the problem. The masochist teapot is what you're doing if you're just saying, oh, I created a platform. Well, it's like saying I want to build a teapot without thinking about what a teapot's for, what it does, what you actually want to deliver to your end user when you're creating. Saying something along the lines of, I want to deliver to my players a series of reflex-based challenges that are easily intuitable because they understand the underlying mechanics, because they mirror actions in their daily lives. This is a much closer start, right? This is a much more honed definition. This is the sort of place that you should be trying to get to when you're starting out on your project. Because this helps you define where your core engagement is, how you're engaging your players. If your players are these guys, well, yeah, you're probably building a platform because, well, they understand running and jumping. If your player's that guy, you might be building a shooter or a racing game, right? But the answer is different, right? A platform is not your cover-all answer. The platform doesn't cost a lot of money. Many different platforms engage in many different things. What you care about is not the the skinny of the game, what it seems like on the surface, but what it delivers to the person who's going to end up using it. So, when you're making decisions in the game, when you're actually building out your product, how do you decide if your decisions are reasonable? Anyone, any thoughts? Yes, right there. Up, hit me all the way back here.
Maybe if your idea is feasible for kind of people you're using, with the kind of money you have, the kind of time you have, for the experience you want to bring to play.
So, it's very good, right? You should all, as designers, have an answer to this question, right? I should ask this question, and you guys should all be clamoring to answer. If you're a designer, right? You need to know how to judge your own decisions. This is clearly a key skill. But I mean, I agree with the statement that was made. To me, there should be a tetradic production, right? I have 4 things I like. I like my budget, my schedule, the amount of complexity my decisions add to the game, and how much they add as far as engagement. I view these in hierarchical order because budget, how much does this decision cost in raw dollars? Because, well, schedule is equally important, but I can usually buy more time for money. I can't always turn time back into money. And my second question is, how much time is this going to take with the team that I have? And then, how much complexity, which we're going to get to, is the side of the game, for the engagement I'm delivering out. When weighing a decision, I mean, these are the 3 things that you're always costing every decision you make. And as a designer, it's your job to get the most of this for these 3 things. That's what you always want to be doing. There are lots of great decisions. There are infinite great decisions you could be choosing to incorporate in any game you make. But we're designed for reality. We're designed for a real player. We're designed for a real budget, a real team. So when we design, we have to ask ourselves, how am I getting the most bang for my buck? How am I delivering to my audience the best possible product I can, given these 2 things? So when weighing those, the most difficult of them is this idea of complexity. Many players, when they make the jump to wanting to be designers, want to see lots of depth in their games. And that's true, that's right? Depth is great. But one of the things we often don't realize is that it's on a paired axis, that it's on a scale with complexity. Every decision you make in a game adds complexity to that game. So, even a game as simple as Mario, right? Well, Mario can walk and jump. Well, can he run and jump? Sure. But that makes the game more complex. It makes it harder to immediately approach. How many of you guys have played Europa Universalis? We got 2, 3. So anyway, 4. All right. Europa is a great game. If you're a designer, you should check it out. But why is it a great game? Victoria 2 is an even better example of this. It's a great one. It's got infinite depth. This is a game that, if you've ever really wanted to micromanage the European economy down to the individual person during any given day or month of, say, I don't know, the 14th through 17th century, done, they got it for you. But those decisions want a ton of complexity. And so this depth ends up not meaning anything to most of us. Because engagement is how engaging the depth is, the amount of depth is provided, minus the complexity, because something's only as engaging as the player can interface with, right? And something's only as engaging as the player can actually interact with that particular mechanic or system of your game. So, I recently saw a game that was all about rocket jumping, right? And rocket jumping is a fascinating thing, because rocket jumping is our typical example of emergent game. As a designer, emergent gameplay, secretly that can just depth you didn't realize was there. But the problem with this game was that while pointing and shooting is simple, it's very direct, rocket jumping is actually a complex, a very difficult thing to execute.